Hello there, Star Wars fans, and welcome to another RebelScum.com video. And lately, the subject we've all been talking about is Dark Empire. Dark Empire is another really awesome story. And I love that while we've been covering some of these really cool legend stories in Star Wars lately here on RebelScum.com, whether that be in our video content or on the articles written by our good friend Liam, lately we've also been focusing on some of the earlier legend stories that, well, still hold a very special place in a lot of fans' hearts. And one of those is Dark Empire. Now, I will say, while I am, of course, I do miss Dark Empire like a lot of other Star Wars fans do in canon, at least we got kind of a version of it with Rise of Skywalker. It was very Dark Empire in a sense. And I'll get more in depth with that in a later video about Dark Empire, but for now, right now we're going to be talking about the toys of Star Wars Dark Empire. And first of all, while there's a decent amount, and believe it or not, Kenner actually kicked it off, there isn't a ton. But that being said, there really isn't a ton of so much action figures, I think, of interest, because a lot of Dark Empire incorporated a lot of the original trilogy characters, and we didn't get a whole lot of new Imperial characters with this one. I know there was some, but not much. There was some cool new trooper designs, but not really many new trooper designs. One of the new Army Builder variants we even got as a toy was the Imperial Sentinel here, which is a very cool new take on the Emperor's Royal Guards. I really liked the Sentinels. They were big. They were very imposing. They had these awesome looking weapons. And that's where I'm going to start, is with the Sentinel. The Sentinel, while this figure is very cool, and one that Kenner gave us, I would love to see at some point in the future, while Hasbro's kind of been on this going back to Legends kick at the moment, I would love to see them revisit figures such as the Imperial Sentinel. While they did later on do an update on Kenner's take on the clone Emperor figure, and of course Darkside Luke, which very cool. Emperor's Apprentice Luke is an awesome story that I love that they explored. I would like to see updates like the Imperial Sentinel, or like a Jedi Princess Leia that we got, which is over here to my right, that Kenner also did. Those are figures, I think, in my mind, that very much need an update. Other figures include, of course, that I don't have in front of me right this second, and I think it's the only figure from Dark Empire I don't have in front of me right this second, and that is the Kenner release of the Clone Emperor figure. Now, that figure was very cool, and Kenner, I think, capitalized on the clone of Palpatine aspect very well. They went with the younger, more redhead look version of Palpatine, so an even younger take than the figure depicted here in this comic pack, which is much more articulated, of course, as well as the Darkside Luke. But I like the take they took on it. He has his robes on, and then if you take off those robes, underneath he has like kind of an Imperial looking uniform. It's an interesting looking outfit, but it looks very cool, and I really like it. So in a sense, they kind of got you. Kenner kind of got you for two there, because if you were a loose collector and you're collecting this clone character, well, he had two different outfits on if you remove the robes. So it was really cool in a sense. The other thing I liked about this was they released him with the blue lightsaber that he had in the comic. Now, it looked really cool. I like the idea of Palpatine just like using a lightsaber just to quickly defend himself against Luke real quick, but also kind of showing Luke that he doesn't really need it, and which is why I like the fact that it's blue, because at that point in time it was just an artifact in his collection. He didn't need it. It was just there, and he just used it just to show that he could use it, which I thought that was really cool. I like how they updated it with this comic pack release. The lightsaber looks really nice, as well as Luke's lightsaber. I like that his lightsaber isn't red. However, the Kenner Toys lightsaber is in fact red, and it looks very cool. Both takes look good. I like Hasbro's updated version better, of course, when it comes to Luke, but I also like how Hasbro got us for a third Clone Emperor, because it's a slightly older clone, and it's just different enough from the other Clone Palpatine figures that Kenner released. So you got to get at least 3 Clone Palpatines of the official Clone Palpatine figures in order to have your Palpatine collection complete. And then looking over here at Leia, like I mentioned moments ago, she's another figure I would love to see Hasbro update with more articulation, just fuller articulation. And then as far as other characters, I mean, I don't really think there's a whole lot of other characters that need toys, but some of the vehicles and things I think need toys, at least in 3/3 scale. I think a really cool HasLab would be one of the World Devastators that we saw, sweeping various planets. It was a new vehicle developed by the Empire when they started coming back. Much like in the plot of Rise of Skywalker, the Emperor basically took a sabbatical and came back with a much fuller force, with much more devastating and better technology. So the World Devastators were kind of like, imagine an AT-AT, but much, much larger and could fly and just wrecked stuff as it went on. That's what's so cool about the World Devastator. So I think that would be cool. It's something that never really ever got a toy of any kind. I think that would be a really cool HasLab project personally. Another vehicle that I know fans would really love, and it did get an Action Fleet toy, and of course there's a model of it in the X-Wing tabletop game, but the E-Wing. The E-Wing made its first chronological debut in Dark Empire. It was a new starfighter that the Rebel Alliance had just developed, and of course they were using it throughout Dark Empire. Another really cool toy I think would be the Eclipse class Star Destroyer, which is a new type of dreadnought, a new type of super Star Destroyer. Kind of blends the idea of, or not so much blends, but it started the idea of having a super class Star Destroyer that had, in a sense, Death Star-like technology. It could, much like the cannons in the Star Destroyers on Rise of Skywalker, just fire down below on a planet and eradicate it on its own as a Star Destroyer. Now, however, the Eclipse class Star Destroyer is much, much larger than the Star Destroyers depicted in the film Rise of Skywalker, of course. But it's still very cool, an awesome design, a design that hasn't really been revisited since. And it's got this awesome, downward spike right in the front of it. Just looks awesome. Like it could just not only start blasting a planet if it needed to, but say something happened to the cannon, no big deal. That thing could probably just cut through a planet if it had to, or at least a small planet, planetoid, or moon for sure. And then lastly, I think we need to talk about some Black Series. Because as far as Dark Empire is concerned, there's really nothing for Black Series, even still today. I mean, yeah, you could put a lightsaber in a Princess Leia's hand, or put a red lightsaber in a Luke Skywalker's hand, or head swap Luke with some Sith figure and say, hey, it's Darkside Luke. But at the end of the day, I would really love to see in one of the comic packs like we've been seeing with Hasbro earlier this year, I would love to see a Dark Empire Emperor's Apprentice Luke, or a clone Palpatine with the younger red hair, more so than the older Palpatine. I mean, they could easily just design a new mold or design a new outfit and then just put the other existing Palpatine heads on that figure, any one of them, and it would be an easy sale for Hasbro. But, of course, I would love to see them do a little bit more than that, do the red hair, do the younger face Palpatine, because that would open the door for custom head swaps to do, young Palpatines for other people's Black Series collections. And, of course, the Imperial Sentinel. I would love to see the Imperial Sentinel in Black Series. This one, I would argue, probably needs an update the most because the figure is pretty solid. He has no leg articulation whatsoever, and that's because there is no leg. It's just one solid piece. And maybe some other weapons. He just needs an update, maybe in 3/3 scale. A Black Series figure would be awesome. Seeing one of these full size in Black Series would be really cool because they are very, very tall. It would have to be at least, I would say, the height of Chewbacca. That's how tall they are. Maybe some swappable weapons, much like with the Gam Guard released in Black Series. And I just think it would be really neat. That's just neat. What do you guys think? What's something from Dark Empire you would like to see? Let us know in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on social media. Check out our articles here because there's more in-depth articles here written by our good friend Liam. He does a really good job. Please read his articles. There's some articles up now, in fact, so go scroll through. Thank you for coming to rebelscum.com. That's it for today, guys. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. And may the Force be with all of you, you rebel scum.